Hello everyone, welcome to the next lecture of electrical circuit analysis. In the past lecture, we have learned about the voltage divider rule. Now today, in this particular lecture, we will start with our new topic, that is the resistance in parallel. So now, what is the parallel connection? You can see in this figure that here three resistance R1, R2 and R3 are connected in parallel. So now how to identify the parallel connection? Let's suppose this is the terminal 1 and this is the terminal 2. So parallel connection can be identified by this way, that all the terminal of R1, R2 and R3 are connected at same point, that is the first point, and the ending connection is at second point. That means starting point of all the resistance is same, that is the 1, and ending point of all the resistance is again same, that is the 2. So the parallel connection can be identified by this way, that starting point and ending point of all the element is same, then that type of element can be said that connected in parallel. So the resistance joined is connected in parallel if first point, that is the potential difference across all resistance, is same. So here we can say that the battery of V volt is also connected at terminal 1 and terminal 2. So all resistance R1, R2 and R3 is having the same potential, that is equal to V volt. Second point, current in each resistor is different and is given by Ohm's law, that is equal to V by R. So if we want to find out the current I1, then current I1 is equal to V upon R1. I2 is equal to V upon R2. And I3 is equal to V upon R3. So all three current is different and depends on the value of R1, R2 and R3. Now third point, the total current is the sum of the three separate current. So I is equal to nothing but the summation of I1 plus I2 plus I3. So the total current is the summation of these three separate currents. Now what are the characteristics of parallel circuit? That same voltage act across all the part of the circuit. That means same voltage V appear to all the three element R1, R2 and R3. Different resistors have their individual current. That means R1 is having its individual current I1, R2 is having its individual current I2 and R3 has its individual current I3. Branch currents are additive. That means we can add I1, I2 and I3. Conductance are additive and power are additive. That means that total resistance are equivalent resistance, that we already know that R equivalent is equal to 1 upon R1, 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So we can take their inverse. So G is equal to G1 plus G2 plus G3. So we can say that conductance are additive and power is also additive. So this is the equivalent resistance formula that we have already learned in our previous semester. Now we can derive the current division formula. If we learn about the resistance in parallel, then we are now able to identify the separate current I1, I2 and I3. So we know that in this diagram the total current is given by I1 plus I2. this current is divided from this point in two part. First part is upper part, that is I1. Second part is the lower part, that is the I2. So we know that individual current I1 is given by V by R1. That means voltage is parallel with R1 and R2. So we can find out the value of I1, and that is equal to V by R1. And we can find the value of I2, that is equal to V by R2. So now we can find out the total current. Total current is the summation of individual current I1 plus I2. So we can put over here value of I1. I1 is equal to V by R1. I2 is equal to V by R2. Now we can take the voltage V common from this above equation. So in bracket there will be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So now this is the formula of resistance in parallel. So this will be equal to its equivalent resistance, that is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. We can simplify this bracket by taking LCM of R1 into R2. So over here R1 plus R2 will remain. Now we can take the value of R equivalent. So we have to inverse this term. So this becomes R equivalent becomes R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Now we having the formula of current that we have written over here. I is equal to V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. And this 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 is equal to 1 upon R equivalent. This 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 is equal to 1 upon R equivalent. So I can write V by R equivalent. So the total voltage is given by R equivalent multiply by I can shift this R equivalent into the left half of is equal to, so V becomes I into R equivalent. Now we can find out the individual branch current. So this I1 is given by V by R1. So I1 is equal to V by R1. Now we will put the value of voltage that we have derived. V is equal to I into R equivalent. So I1 becomes I into R equivalent divided by R1. So I can write that I1 is equal to total current I multiply by R equivalent upon R1. Now we will derive the R equivalent. R equivalent is equal to R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So in this equation, this denominator comes to multiply with R1. So I1 becomes I into R1 into R2. This R1 plus R2 will shift down and multiply with R1. So here R1 plus R2 multiply by R1. So we can cancel out this R1. So current I1 will remain as I1 into this R1 will be cancelled. So in numerator there will be only R2. So R2 divided by R1 plus R2. This is the individual current in branch R1. Now the same way we can find out the value of I2. So this part will remain same. Current I is equal to V by R equivalent. R equivalent will be multiplied with I, and the total voltage is equal to I into R equivalent. Now what is the value of I2? I2 is equal to V by R2. So we will again put the value of V is equal to I into R equivalent. So I2 is equal to R equivalent upon R2. We will again put the value of R equivalent. Again shift this denominator into over here. So current I2 becomes I into R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 multiplied by R2. So now here R2 will be cancelled. So in numerator there will be only R1. So current I2 is equal to I into R1 upon R1 plus R2. So this will be the final formula for current division rule. So how can we remember this formula? So if I want to find out the value of I1, that is the resistance, that is the current from resistance R1. So I1 is equal to total current multiply by we have to multiply current I with the resistance that is in parallel with R1. If I want to find out the current I1, then I have to multiply I with R2, that is the parallel to R1, and in denominator I have to add all the resistance R1 plus R2. Now for I2, I have to multiply I with resistance which is parallel to R2. So I have to take opposite resistance when I want to find out the individual branch current. So I have to find out the I2, then I have to multiply with R1. If I want to find out the I1, I have to multiply with the R2, and denominator will remain same, that is R1 plus R2. Now this is the case when there will be two resistance in parallel. Now let's see if there are three resistance in parallel. So I have to find out the I1, I2 and I3. So now let's consider the I1. So I1 is equal to total current I. Now as I say you, we have to multiply the opposite branch resistance. So I want to find out the current I1, then I have to multiply R2 with R3. Now here we have to take pair of individual resistance R1 R2, R2 R3 and R3 R1. Denominator will remain same for all the three currents. The change is only in numerator. If I want to find out I1, I have to multiply the rest of the resistance R2 R3. Now if I want to find out the value of I2, then remaining resistance are R1 and R3. Denominator will remain same, R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R3 R1, and over here bracket. Now again I want to find out the value of I3, then I3 is equal to total current I multiply by R1 R2, remaining resistance in parallel with R3, and in denominator there will be R1 R2, R2 R3 plus R3 R1. Now it starts with the next topic, that is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now first let's understand the statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law. Simply it is known as KVL. So statements states that the algebraic sum of all the products of current and resistance in each of the conductor in any closed path, or we can say that mesh in a network, plus the algebraic sum of EMF in that path is 0. That means algebraic summation means we have to take consideration of the direction of the travel, that is known as the algebraic summation. So it states that this algebraic summation of all the current and the product with resistance plus EMF of all the source in this closed path is always equal to 0. That means I into R is known as drop, voltage drop, and addition with EMF in a closed path is always equal to 0. That is the statements of Kirchhoff's voltage law. That means if we will add drop plus EMF in this closed path, it always equal to 0. Now if we will start from a particular junction and go around the mesh till we come back to the starting point, then we must be at the same potential with which we started. That means if I will start from point A and travel from point A, B, C, D to A, and on this path if I will add all the EMF and all the drop and I will come to back to point A, then there will be total voltage is equal to 0. So it means that all the source EMF meet on the way must be necessarily be equal to the voltage drop in the resistance. That means this EMF E2 and E1 is equal to all the drop of R1, R2, R3 and R4, and then we will move towards the point A, so EMF will be equal to 0. Now consider this resistance, suppose R. This resistance is R ohm, and current pass through this resistance is supposed to I ampere. Now, while solving the numerical for Kirchhoff's voltage law, we have to understand the sign convention. Now, if current enter in a resistance, then that entering point we will take that enter point as positive and current leaving point is negative. So keep this notation in your mind that in any element, resistance, inductance or capacitor, if current enter point is always taken as plus and current leaving point is always taken as minus. Now for battery we do not have to consider any sign convention because battery has its own terminal, plus and minus. This larger point is always positive and this smaller one is always negative. So in battery we do not have bother about the sign of plus and minus because EMF is having their individual sign of plus and minus. We have to consider the element resistance, inductance and capacitance. So entering point of current is plus, leaving point of current is minus. So keep these two things in your mind while solving the example of Kirchhoff's voltage law, that EMF is having their own plus and minus sign, but for element RLC we have to take this sign convention. Entering point is plus, leaving point is minus. Okay, you can see this in this figure that current direction is this. Current moves from plus to minus, that we already learned this potential rise and potential drop in our past lecture. If you have not seen that video, then please see that video and then only come towards this video. So this battery is having its individual sign minus and plus. So current will move from minus to plus, and that minus to plus is known as rise in voltage, and that is taken as positive. Now in this case current will move from plus to minus, so that is known as the fall in voltage, and that is taken as negative. Now consider this element. Now keep in mind that this is our reference direction. This is our reference direction, and this is the actual direction of current. Now keep in mind that if actual direction of current and reference direction is matched, and that is from plus to minus, then this plus to minus is known as fall in voltage, So that fall in voltage, this fall in voltage is taken as negative, that is equal to minus V, and drop is known as current multiplied by resistance. Now consider this case. Actual current is different with the direction of reference, but we have to keep our reference direction is equation wise. If we write equation of Kirchhoff's voltage law, then we have to always take on the reference direction. Now this reference direction is moved from minus to plus, so this is known as the rise in voltage, and it is taken as positive IR. So while writing the equation of Kirchhoff's voltage law, always take care with reference direction, not the actual direction. You have to solve the numerical for this reference direction only. You have to always consider the reference direction. If reference direction is plus to minus, then it is known as fall in voltage. If reference direction is minus to plus, then it is known as the rise in voltage. Okay, so reference direction is minus to plus, it is rise in voltage. Reference direction is plus to minus, fall in voltage. Same, reference direction is plus to minus, fall in voltage. Reference direction is minus to plus, that is the rise in voltage. Clear? So you have to keep in mind this notation. We always care about our reference direction, not actual direction. Okay, we always consider the reference direction. If reference is minus to plus, it is rise. If it is plus to minus, it is fall. Now consider this Kirchhoff's voltage law case. In this circuit, we are going to write down the Kirchhoff's voltage law equation. So now this is the individual current I1, I2, I3 and I4. So now let's mark out our plus and minus sign. This current I1 is enter in this point of R1. So I will mark as plus over here and leave from this point. So I will mark this as minus point. Now this current I2 will enter in R2 at this point and left R2 at this point. So I will mark as minus. This current I3 will enter in R3 at this point and left R3 at this point. So I will mark as negative. Now this current I4, it will enter at this point and left at this point. So this is the way to mark out the points of R1, R2, R3 and R4. And this clockwise direction we have taken as our reference direction. So this is our reference direction of this particular loop. Now we will try to write down the Kirchhoff's voltage law equation in this circuit. So we have to consider this reference direction to mark the drop in this particular loop. So this current will flow in this direction for R1, in this direction for R2, in this direction for R3 and in this direction for R4. Clear? So we will take as I1 R1 is negative because reference current will flow from plus to minus. So plus to minus is known as the fall in potential. Again I2 R2 we will consider it as negative because it again in a fall in potential, because in R2 our reference current will move from plus to minus. Again for the in R3 our reference current will flow from minus to plus, so it is known as positive. So I3 R3 is positive because it's rise in potential. Clear? It is rise in potential. Now for R4 it will flow from plus to minus. I4 flow from plus to minus, so it is always negative and taken as fall in potential. So I4 R4 is negative and it is fall in potential. Now for E2 we know that in battery there is fixed plus and minus. Now this reference current flow from plus to minus in E2, so again it is fall in potential and taken as negative. But in E1 a reference current will flow from minus to plus, so E1 is positive and it is known as rise in potential. So using Kirchhoff's law we can write Kirchhoff's voltage law equation in this loop is like this. I1 R1 is negative, so minus I1 R1. I2 R2 is also negative, so minus I2 R2. I3 R3 is positive, so I will write plus. Again I4 R4 is negative, so I will write minus. E2 is negative, so I will write minus. E1 is positive, so it is plus. So this is known as the algebraic sum. That means in case of algebraic sum, we have to take sign convention, plus to minus or minus to plus. So again I can simplify this term is like drop in one side I1. So if now I will simplify this equation, so I will shift I1 R1, I2 R2, I3 R3 and I4 R4 in next side of equal to. So I1 R1, I2 R2 and I4 R4 becomes plus. So plus I1 R1 plus I2 R2 plus I4 R4. Now this plus I3 R3 becomes negative, and in this side only E1 minus E2 will remain left. So by this way we will conclude this our video lecture, and if you have any doubt you can ask me personally. You can call me, you can message me or you can WhatsApp me. Thank you very much.